Hello! My name is Second One 814, and I just got back from seeing A Cure for Wellness. And, well, I'd say, hey, hey, you know what, let me back up first. So first off, did I like the movie? No. So, let me just say, this movie is not a horror movie. I mean, it tries to be. I shouldn't say that it's not a horror movie, but uh, if it tries to be a horror movie and it fails. So let's start from the beginning. So the basic plot of this movie is that the guy Lockhart, he is basically the employee at a major finance assistant firm, or marketing firm. But basically, his CEO the CEO of the company has basically been and at a spa resort in the Swedish Alps, and he needs Alps, and of course they're getting ready to do a merger, and so they need the CEO back. So Lockhart sent to retrieve the CEO, oh, uh, Penny, I forget his name now. He's sent to retrieve the CEO, and go from the spa, go from the resort, and basically, from there everything goes wrong. I shouldn't say everything goes wrong, but basically he ends up trapped at the resort. Now, basically, like I said in the beginning, this movie tries to be a horror movie, but fails. I mean, now let me just say that the concept of it is interesting. Even if it has done before, I thought the concept was definitely interesting. But execution-wise, it's just not a horror movie, even though it's labeled as a horror movie. And would I say it's bad a horror movie? No, I would just, boring. It's not scary. Yeah, that's for darn sure. One of the main issues I think with this film is the fact that it tries to be scary with air, but it just kind of fails with each segment. It's literally instead of doing what they probably should have done, and basically just trying to build up and to literally you show the guy basically going insane from being trapped at this place. Is instead they try to deliver their fear through segments. And there's a story. It's basically it's all told in certain segments. Instead of in sorry, train of thought here. Instead of a constant flow where there would be a buildup of fear, it's literally just segments where you're supposed to get scared of aired, or basically you get scared about with what's going on currently. The problem is the majority of these segments just fail. There's not real horror or real tension until literally the last, like, I don't know, 20 minutes of the film. But I'll get to that. So, let's just the other way. This is a human-on-human conflict horror movie. Right, so, basically, the problem is the human-on-human conflict is just not well executed, like I said before. So, basically, every segment, basically, it feels like every segment, even though it has fluidity, is just an individual segment that tries to scare you, and it just fails miserably. well, not well. Okay, yeah, miserably. Like there's this one segment where the main character Lockhart is going to who the I think it who the steam to the steam baths at this place, which is basically the place, and he's I think he's looking for the CEO, and he's basically wandering around, and just kind of around, and he's basically going through different doors. There's constant doorways. It's kind of like if you've ever played it or seen it played Spooky's Jump Scare Mansion. It's kind of like those rooms where you have to constantly go through the right door, but well, actually, no, it's not like that. My bad. But anyway, so there's in this bathhouse, he keeps going, or I should the steam baths. He keeps going through doors after doors, and it's into the same room, and so until finally he comes to a room where there's no doors, and the camera just kind of, and it constantly shows the walls, and there's no doors anywhere, and finally he ends up in a steam bath, and finally he ends up sitting next to his CEO. Oh, who is that in the steam bath? So yeah, it's just moments like that. Not moments, but just segments like that. Just this that just fail at inducing fear. So, another problem with this movie is segments that just don't really make a lot of sense. And I hate to keep using the word segments, but that's kind of what or I should say scenes really, but scenes that don't make sense. There's this like in the beginning of the movie we see this guy working on his desk at night, and I guess in a marketing firm, and I'm not. And at first I thought he would be the CEO, because it's clearly having heart problems. And I thought, oh, he's the CEO. Oh, he's sick. He just decided he's going to go up to the spa. Well, no, the guy isn't not the CEO. Well, he's just somebody that the CEO knew. But anyway, he basically has a heart attack and dies in the first scene. And, well, it doesn't really play any part in the movie. There's just no real mention ever again. So, yeah. And then there's another scene after the main character, Lockhart, has been admitted to this place, and he's undergoing the treatment. And basically, he's supposed to be he's submerged in this big huge water tank for like 30 minutes, and there's a doctor monitoring him. But the problem with it is there's this nurse that comes in and literally stands in the doorway, blocking the doctor's view of the tank. And literally, she starts taking off her unbuttoning her uniform, and literally the doctor just sits there and literally starts masturbating, and you can tell he's masturbating. It doesn't show him, but him masturbating, but you can tell him. I mean, well, it does in a way. There's no male genitals revealed, but in the scene, but basically he starts masturbating, and while Lockhart is in the tank, all of a sudden, there's just a bunch of eels swimming around him. He starts panicking, tries to escape. In the process, just loses the respirator device he was using. Yes, he was submerged in a tank using a respirator to breathe. And while he's trying to escape, this nurse is basically he's standing in front of this guy topless, where the male doctor is literally jerking off. Another thing in this movie that you do see is that there is nudity in this movie. Most of it is you see old people person nudity, like in this bathhouse scene. There's a lot of people show. There's a lot of you see asses and breasts. You don't they don't really show very many dick pics, but still. You know, and I guess, and I know that it's supposed to be a Swedish place and all that, but I mean, it makes sense for a bit. But getting back to the scene I was talking about, the scene just doesn't really make any sense because the doctor that just they're sitting there masturbating with the nurse, with the topless nurse, it's never brought up again, and all it really seems to serve to do is a serve as a plot, or as a point, as a scene for the guy in trouble. So yeah, there's just scenes. Now, I do want to. There are some elements that they try to do well, but just get wrong. And I want to reinstate that this is in no way a bad horror. This is just boring horror. Or it's not like there's it's like bad acting or anything. It's just that the execution of this is just bad. Anyways, so yeah. So one of the main plot of this movie is the main character's Lockhart's relationship with a little girl named Hannah. Excuse me. And so Hannah is this little girl. So I should back up because I just missed a critical point. Basically, there's this. Basically, everybody's up there because as the water is good, but Hannah doesn't drink the water because she's a special case, and I'll get to that later. Here, because it has to do with the final scene. But yeah, so and speaking speaking of their relationship isn't really portrayed. It's not really a story. It's basically a plot point that kind of goes nowhere as the relationship doesn't really develop at all. There is one scene where he takes her into town, yes, and literally escapes, but but basically he's just doing that to try to get investigate the place and make a call to his employer. But anyways, so yeah. So anyway, I guess I should probably explain how he gets trapped in this asylum. Anyways, so basically he goes up to I shouldn't say asylum, but in the spa, he goes up to the spa to retrieve his CEO, and he's talking to one of the head doctors there, and he said, "Well, I need to bring him back," and he says he's going to go to a hotel to come back to the CEO, and he gets into a car crash with a deer. So yeah, that's basically how he gets trapped there. But anyways, so moving right along. So yeah, now back to the relationship. I should go back more to the relationship with Hannah, because I mean, other than the fact that it's not really well played out, it's just kind of that's another plot point that goes it's just a plot point that goes nowhere. And I hate to keep reinstating it, but it's one of the main plot points of the movie, and it doesn't work. So yeah, there's a so basically he basically wanders around on the spa or the resort trying to figure out what's going on. Well, I should say it's a hospital, but anyway, he's wandering around the hospital trying to figure out what's going on, and there are just a lot of scenes that just don't make a lot of sense. And again, and I hate to keep saying that, but I shouldn't say don't make a lot of sense. But there's this one scene where he's wandering around the hospital, well, and he finds a bunch of people suspended in tanks, and he sees a CEO, and he basically, oh, and it's like one of those scenes where it's like where people are suspended in the water, or not respirators, like or it's like you see a bunch of people suspended in water, hotter, and it's just odd because the scene isn't really mentioned again. And I guess to try to show that the place is really, really fucked up. So yeah, uh, other than that, but anyway, is the people in the tanks kind of things that's never brought up again. The only plot point that is constant is the fact that this hospital basically fucked up. So basically, one of the main plot points of the movie is that a hospital or the spa, whatever you want to call it, is basically built on a castle where 200 years prior there was a baron and who basically in order to keep his bloodline pure married and fucked his sister. And Mister. And so basically, the townspeople revolted, and killed the Baroness by burning her alive. And so, basically, the townspeople revolted because the Baron was doing tests on them, and all sorts of stuff like that. So, yeah. Anyways, so basically, the hospital is now where the Baron's castle once stood. And you need to just remember the Baron because that plays an important part later. But anyways, moving right along. Well, I just explain it because as you learn more and more that the Baron was trying to find a cure or not for the Baroness because she couldn't because of the fact that basically she was infertile. No, I take it back. She was pregnant, and she was basically trying to find a cure for her pregnancy. I guess he was trying to find a cure or something. I don't even know. It's just I forget it now. But anyways, so yeah. So basically, even though with this whole plot point, once again, I hate to keep saying this, but this is very true. The movie just really, really fails at being a horror movie. Yeah, there are moments with the scary music, but it just does not build tension. And it does try to scare you with hallucinations. Like there's this one part where Lockhart, basically he's been hearing noises from his toilet for a while. And so finally he investigates it. He pulls up the top lid of the toilet, and there's eels in the toilet. And so, yeah. But it turns out it's just a hallucination. Yeah. And so, yeah. That's just, and and the toilet is brought up again because the eels are important. So, yeah. So basically, after he was crazy, one night, he basically, they give him, I guess, the cure. Basically what it is they use water that's infected, that has eels in it, and they basically pump this water into patients' bodies. Yes, eels and all. And it's just kind of weird because the eels it doesn't never really mentions exactly what the mentions what the eels are used for other than and we see that they are for body disposal and other things among other things there. So yeah, but anyways, so the final scene is basically when the movie gets kind of good, but even then it's just kind of weird, kind of weird, kind of. Well, I shouldn't say weird, but even the movie just kind of fails to bring to build tension. So anyway, he's in the final 20 minutes. It's we basically it's basically Hannah. The doctor gives Hannah a new dress, marries her literally, yes, and it's basically revealed that Hannah is the Baroness's daughter. Or yes, because somehow she has. Hannah is a Hannah who is portrayed to be a young child. Well, I think she's. I don't know exactly how old she's supposed to be. I think she's portrayed as somewhat of a teenager. Her I think her probably I don't know how old is in the movie, but anyways, but it turns out yes, Hannah is the Baroness's daughter. Basically means that she is the a main doctor, the head doctor's daughter, because the head doctor is the Baron. What kind of sense that makes, I have no idea, and how they survived for 200 years, I guess with the eels, but other than that, it doesn't really make sense. And basically, a doctor has plans to essentially try to essentially screw Anna to try to make a family again. Yeah, and that's fucked up, but that's about it. But the problem is the movie just doesn't build any tension. There's no tension build up. There's no big build up. Uh, up. Build up. There's no lasting burn. It's just kind of boring, except for this last scene. And basically, what happens is even after Lockhart has gone over the treatment, and had the eels was pumped in. He basically still finds time. He still is able to go able to find it within him to go down into the caves below the hospital. We'll find the hospital and confront the doctor or the Baron. Basically, it's just that it's a fight scene where basically the Baron kind of throws him around for a little bit, and then Hannah after he sets the place on the caves and the entire asylum on fire. The doctor kind of the Baron throws him around a bit, and then basically Hannah kills the Baron, and by literally he driving a shovel through his head like an axe. So yeah, uh, uh, it's just and it's just not exactly not well executed because it's just boring. And one thing I never usually do in movies, and this is something I really do, is basically be a clock watcher or just constantly looking at my watch. But I found myself doing that in this movie. I found myself looking at my watch about I'd say 2/3 of the way through, just kind of wanting it to be over. So, yeah, and the movie is definitely a lot longer than it should be. So anyway, yeah, that's A Cure for Wellness. Spider, my final rating, 4 out of 10. Yeah, it's a horror movie. It tries to be a horror movie, and it fails. Would I recommend it? No. Save your money and go watch something else. Get Out is coming out this out in another week out this week. I'd say hey, wait and go see that. Hopefully that's any good. Or hell, go see Split. Yeah, that's a good one. Yes, M. Night Shyamalan has definitely made a comeback. So, anyways, yeah, there you have it. I have it. A cure for wellness. A cure for wellness. 4 out of 10. Don't go see it. And well, that about wraps it up for this video. My name is Second1814. Thank you so much for watching. May the wind always be at your back. See ya!